thank you for tuning in to Child Support Greed. Fathers have rights. The so-called child support system works for the best interests of corporate profits, not the best interest of your offspring. So with that being said, gentlemen, I'm about to show you factual proof that the so-called child support courts are gender biased against you. You understand? They hate you, all right? Meaning the result of how they treat you is the same result as if someone said they hated you. It means they cause you harm and they pretend to love your so-called children or your offspring. So let me zoom in here. Let's see if we can zoom in a little closer. Okay, for some reason, in just a moment, for some reason that didn't want to zoom in that way. Let's try again. All right, so I can see that that's going to be a problem. Bear with me. Okay, so this is the Children's Legal Rights Journal. This is from 2017. And let's see, this website is lawecommons.luc.edu. And it says, distributing children as property, the best interest of the children or the best interest of the parents. So let's go on down. So this document is 41 pages, but we're just going to read a little bit here. Introduction. Recognizing that half of marriages in the United States result in divorce, and that almost half of children born in the United States are born out of wedlock, it comes as no surprise that child custody remains a highly debated and controversial issue within the legal field. All right, so we're going to just go on down. By the way, they may or may not mention in here that most of these divorces are initiated by the women. That is also a statistical fact. Let's go on down here. Go on down here. So we're going to focus on the historical perspective. Now watch this here. Before the 19th century, fathers automatically obtained custody of their children. Do you see that? I'm going to read it again. Before the 19th century, fathers automatically obtained custody of their children. So this idea that men historically have never wanted to take care of their children is a damn lie. Men used to get custody. So let's see what changed. Because they want you to think that men somehow inherently don't want to take care of their children, their human offspring. It says this principle stemmed from Roman law, which was later adopted by English law, and subsequently also embraced by American law. All right? Because men were generally the only financial providers for the family during the time. So men were providing. So where's this deadbeat idea that the child support system needed to be created because men were intentionally getting women pregnant and disappearing? It's a damn lie. Let's continue. The father was the only parent considered capable of maintaining control and custody of the children. At that time, the father was considered to be in total control of his property and household. And that's how it should be, because that's what the scriptures say, which these people pretend to honor when they say, in God we trust. And we know the God they trust in is Satan, but they pretend like it's the God of the Bible, or the God of Israel. Let's continue. So he was presumed the appropriate custodial parent. Now, we still don't necessarily want to be called custodial or non-custodial parents, but nonetheless, you would have had your son or daughter under your authority and care. Furthermore, the father was seen as more capable of financially providing and taking care of the children. This argument was partially attributed to women's lack of property rights and resources during this time. By the early 1900s, now we're going to see where it changed. By the early 1900s, so that's already over 100 years ago, seeing how this is 2022. The law drastically shifted. Pay attention to that. Drastically shifted. That means you're shifting towards feminism and emasculating men. That's what you're going towards. Shifted from favoring the father to favoring the opposite parent. Now let's pay attention to how many killers, thugs, and everything else we got here running in the streets today. When you shifted to favoring the mother, you also shifted to a bunch of damn gangbangers shooting each other and being idiots in the street with no respect for authority. Let's continue. The tender years doctrine, right, which strongly favored mothers, quickly became the favored approach in determining issues of child custody. This doctrine marked the commencement of a strong bias in favor of mothers that persists in cases of child custody to this day. Now, when it first started, the tender years doctrine, in my opinion, wasn't so bad. Let's see what it was. The principle first originated and gained traction under the theory that the mother should raise children under 3 years old. Now, me personally, I don't see anything wrong with her having custody under 3 years old, especially if she was breastfeeding, which a lot of these women today do not do, because if they were breastfeeding, they wouldn't have been so worried about the formula shortages and worried about FedEx shipping some formula from overseas because they forgot how to use their breasts. Or the breasts dried up quick because they barely know how to use them, or they barely use them. They're so out of tune with nature that your milk won't even produce for those who even want to produce. But let's continue. Then subsequently custody should shift back again to the father. So the tender years doctrine was stating that the mother should have the child for 3 years and under, and then after that the father should be the main quote-unquote custodial parent. The philosophy was that mothers obtained the innate gift, right, of showering small children of tender years in the affection, nurture, and love they profoundly require. Shortly thereafter, the courts maintained, look at this, the courts maintained that if the child's innately nurturing mother were the superior parent for a certain age range, her parenting would be superior to the father's regardless of the child's age. So what you see here is then the courts decided that the mother, if she's better for the child at 3 years and under, she's better all the way till he's 18 or 21, whatever the age was during these years. So it's the court's fault for all this father absence. Not because men don't want to be fathers, but because the courts took away your power and authority, but yet they still want you to pay for every damn thing and be responsible for everything. You should not have to be responsible for anything unless you have authority over it. It's like somebody blaming you for a car wreck because a thief stole your car and ran a damn red light and hit and killed somebody. You shouldn't go to jail because somebody stole your car, ran a red light, and killed somebody. Even though it is your car. You know why? Because they stole it from you. Likewise, when they steal your children from you and he grows up to be an idiot or a killer or a disrespectful young punk in the streets acting a damn fool, and you want to blame fathers for not being there. Well, the courts are the reason fathers are not there. Let's continue. Subsequently, the courts, not the fathers, the courts, and the general public. Look at this. We know the general public means these feminist-ass women. And whatever punk men was stupid enough to go along with it, right? The courts and the general public strongly presumed. A presumption is an assumption, meaning it doesn't mean a damn thing in reality. That's your opinion. Presume that following a separation, mother should attain and maintain custody regardless of even the most obvious moral flaws and character deficiencies. She can be a thought, she can be a hoe, she can be a bitch, she can be a slut, she can be a stripper, she can smoke weed, she can smoke crack, she can have an attitude problem, She still is the best parent according to the courts. In one instance, the court explained. You watch this here. The courts explain, mother love is a dominant trait in even the weakest of women. Do you see that? So they saying the weakest, no good ass woman is better than all you men. And as a general thing, surpasses the paternal affection. Do you see how wicked this shit is? They saying you don't love your child. Only the mother's love matters because you can't love like her. For the common offspring. Let me read that again. Mother love is a dominant trait in even the weakest of women, and as a general thing surpasses the paternal affection for the common offspring. I wonder why they're not practicing that in Ukraine. When Russia is invading to kill everybody, why are the women and children leaving and the men have to stay there and fight to defend the country? Why don't the women stay there and fight since you got such profound love for your children? No, you're going to run your ass out to a foreign country when it's time to go to war. Then men are supposed to risk their lives and get killed for you and the children so you might be able to bring your asses back home. Men die for their women and children at war. And you telling me that we can't love like mothers? Let's continue. And moreover, a child needs a mother's care even more than a father's. Okay then, so since the court say that, then don't ever blame men who you call being a deadbeat because you said the child doesn't need his love. You hypocritical sons of bitches. That's what you are. For these reasons, courts are loathed. With that word loathe means hate. Courts hate to deprive the mother of the custody of her children. Just damn the father. So now you have proof that they hate you as men. This excerpt from the court clearly illustrates that in cases of child custody under the prevailing influence of the tender years doctrine, the legal system blatantly and unapologetically, the legal system blatantly and unapologetically discriminated based on gender. So it is gender discrimination. So all of you saying that child support is not biased against men, shut the hell up. Yes, it is gender bias, but it's a new day. You men need to look this up, and you need to take action and let them know you're not going for this BS anymore. While following this philosophy, the courts erroneously presumed that even the foulest, most substandard mother, simply because of her gender, could provide a child overwhelmingly more than even the best father could. You see that? They kept going. By the 1950s, the courts in over 40 states had accepted and adopted the tender years doctrine. Regardless of its growing approval and recognition among the courts, criticism toward the doctrine grew by the 1970s. Some states rightfully changed their view. They reasoned that the tender years doctrine further perpetuated gender stereotypes. Eventually, the doctrine was held unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause granted by the 14th Amendment. Now, here's why, even though they said that, that's bullshit. Because you men know that even though they say here it's unconstitutional, fat chance of you getting equal custody of your child. Fat chance of you getting full custody of your son who's going to need his father more than his mother so that he won't be an idiot in this street getting killed or killing somebody else. Or carjacking and all this dumb shit they out here doing. You understand? You need a father for that. More than a mother. So with that being said, you can read the rest of this document on your own. But I just wanted you to see that inherently in this system, the gender discrimination from this tender years doctrine is still there in all 50 states, even though they try to pretend that it's not, because the proof is in the pudding. How do you men get treated trying to get custody for your son or daughter? Because that's what's the most important thing to me. Damn child support. The child needs to see his father to live with his father, so that he won't be a damn idiot out here in the streets who later on society is going to blame the man because he wasn't there. Well, guess what, stupid ass society? Your wicked ass courts is the reason why so many men are not there. So shut the hell up with your fake ass deadbeat dad accusations and blame this wicked ass child support court, or the family court as it's known, which is the most wicked, gutter, dirty, low-class court in the entire legal system. So with that, if you need help dealing with these child support demons, go to childsupportgreed.com and do what it says on the home page, and we will work on a peaceful, hopefully peaceful, solution to dealing with these bastards. Have a good day.